really a deep, dark sherry in it. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a regional bottle here in my cask. It's a Glenfarclas collector's item. It's a series, and this is the 20th edition of this series, and it's named James Clerk Maxwell. It's a 1988 vintage, bottled in 2016. It's 46% ABV, and the price is, close to 150 euros. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get this bottle outside of Central Europe, but there are several other bottles on the market, and I remember some older Glenfarclas 100% matured in cherry casks, vintage 1996, 1997, 2000, some of them in cask strength. And the specialty of this bottle is that it's a mixture out of 4 sherry casks with the numbers, somewhere it's written down here, 6,867, 6,982, and 87 and 88. Typically, these casks are not all first fill, but they are mixed between first fill and second fill, probably a third fill in it as well, but all is sherry cask. And if you look at the vintage 1988, then this whiskey should have been matured in European oak. The sherry producers switched over in the 90s or the early 2000s to 80% over to American white oak casks, because they are a lot cheaper than the European oak. And the European oak, even with the sherry, had been too intense, too tannin laden, that the consumers said, well, this is too bitter. And the American white oak matures a lot smoother. But this one should be from original European oak, probably from the Pyrenees, where most of the casks came from. I see there's a sequence, 87 and 88, 6,987 and 88. Those might be first fill casks, and the other 2 might be a second fill, 2 second fills, or a second and third fill. So 28 years in the cask should have been, in first fill casks, should be darker than this one. It's 46% ABV, unchill filtered, and this is a collector's item. And here we have personalities from Scotland in this series, and it's the 20th edition already, and the first had been Bonnie Prince Charlie, Robert Burns, David Livingstone, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Maria Stuart, but then James Watt, Sir Walter Scott, Sir William Wallace, Graham Bell, Stevenson, Robert Louis Stevenson, the writer, Robert the Bruce, Charles Doig, the one who built the pagodas on the kilns of the distilleries, David Hume, King Macbeth, Andrew Carnegie, Adam Smith, and so on. This time it's James Clerk Maxwell, and whoever, and if you have studied science, either natural science or engineering science, you had to learn the Maxwell equations. A horrible stuff where the magnetism and electricity is combined in very complex equations, and Clerk Maxwell was the one who figured out those equations. But what the people do not know is that he also calculated distributions of the speed of gas molecules, and the distribution is called the Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution. So he was also very firm in this, and He also took one of the first color photographs to show that color photography and these additional color systems are working. Yeah, that's it. And now have a look at the content of this wonderful bottle. Really a deep dark sherry in it, and vanilla and caramel. So the cask is combining with the sherry influence, and well, the distillery character of Glenfarclas is already hidden behind this cask influence. It's very complex, very full, very strong. So I'm happy that they mixed different sherry casks together and we do not have this one very intense, tannin-rich whiskey. The cask is showing through a lot. Some faint coffee showing through. But the fruitiness and probably a little bit of sweetness, but the typically used Oloroso sherry casks by Glenfarclas have a not so sweet taste, but more a fruity taste, because they fully fermented the sugar in the juice, in the grape juice, to alcohol. But the sweetness might come from the burned oak casks, where the cellulose is converted into wooden sugar, and those sugars were converted into caramel, and those deliver some sweetness to the whiskey. And a long time in the cask, the whiskey was able to extract all this sweetness from the cask walls. Full and strong, and the alcohol together with the spiciness of the oak combine and attack the inside of your mouth, leaving some cover, some oak taste combined with bitterness. Light bitterness, not too strong, so the sweetness of the caramel hinders the bitterness of the tannins to show through in the front of your mouth, but in the back on the tongue these coffee notes are present. The aftertaste is long. It's like a cladded mouth. With something special. Yeah. A second gulp, it's mouth-watering a lot. And if I have to decide if the number 20, edition number 20 or 19 or 18 is the better one, I can't tell you. The influences of different whiskies over the month is so hefty that I can't remember in detail the taste of the other one. But I can tell you that this is a typical Glenfarclas, a typical old Glenfarclas, 1988 vintage, 1988, 28 years old, very, very typical. The sherry is very present, and there are those family casks on the market, and they are in cask strength, typically 50 plus ABV, and they are from single casks, and they cost 3 times as much as this one. But I would say the mixture between the first fill and second fill, probably third fill sherry casks helps the whiskey to stay more balanced. And I always prefer such a in-house blended against a very hefty or a refill sherry cask, because it's so much more balanced than single casks are used to be. I always ask myself, when will be the end of the storage of Glenfarclas be reached? And if you look at the family casks, then you see that the amount of casks supplying the same vintages is going down and down. There are holes in the sequence already, so that I think that in a few years from now, those old family casks will be gone. The old casks will be sold, and having these specialties on the market will not help the family casks to survive. And they are selling these ones cheaper than the family casks, but there's not so high demand for those single cask family casks because they are so expensive. If you're looking at the cost-value ratio, if you can, then this one I would say has the double or triple price-value relationship to a family cask, because it's so much cheaper and the quality is close to them. Yeah, this bottle is limited, or this bottling is limited to 2,400 bottles, and I think it will be gone quite fast. So if you see one of those old bottles somewhere on the shelf of your local dealer, go for it. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and as always, please share this video with your friends, and if you like this video, give me a thumb up.